Greetings and salutations, and this is Techrodon here, back with more Resident Evil Village. I'm sorry that I've been skipping out on a few videos. I missed the Sonic Frontiers video of, like, the second Sonic Frontiers video of the week before last, and I didn't upload any videos last week, but I actually have a good excuse for it. I share a room with two people, and I haven't really had, like, any time alone where I was able to do it, is what I should say, because I did have time alone. Don't get me wrong. I was in a lot of pain the last week, and I couldn't really commentate during that pain, because it was bad enough to where, like, I could talk for a while, but eventually you start hearing me, like, wincing pain and stuff like that. Like, you'd hear my voice strained and stuff. And I just didn't want that being in video, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna wait till this heals. And then, by the time it healed enough where it didn't hurt anymore, which was the weekend, I was like, okay, we'll just record the videos on the weekend. I know I missed the video of last week, but you know, we'll get the videos for the next week, we'll do them on the weekend. That didn't work out because I didn't really have any time alone throughout the entire weekend. And the next time I did have time alone, it was actually a pretty sad day. Not gonna go into details why. I am gonna say that in the end, the thing that was sad about that day actually worked out. So it's all chill now.
Stinks.
I'm fine. The people involved are fine. Don't worry. But I just thought I'd explain that. I wanted to explain all that because I feel bad for missing a week of videos. I actually really do. I'm also mad at myself for missing a week of videos because I really wanted to keep the Let's Play grind going for as long as possible without skipping any days, any weeks. But, you know, I had stuff come up. Oh! Okay, I thought the platform was going down. That scared me. Okay, hurry! Yeah, I'm not falling down there. No sirree. Whew. I did fail this section more times than I got caught on video. I think I only got one fail in the recording of the video. I think. We'll find out, but I think I only got one of my fails saved here in the video, which is usually what I do. I usually save one or two fails just so you know I'm not trying to make myself look better by deleting the fails. I just don't like the videos to run on too long. This video especially, because it was really hard getting this video to only be 30 minutes, and I've been trying really hard to not let these videos go over 30 minutes the past few weeks. The last few weeks of uploads I've been doing. I've been trying really hard not to let them go over 30 minutes because I find it really hard to commentate after the 30-minute point. Luckily for me, most of the video after the 30-minute point in this one is going to be the outro. Or not most of it, but half of it. So I shouldn't have too much trouble keeping up commentary here. And I am in a hyper mood, which is also always good for videos because it means I'll keep coming up with ideas of what to talk about. I won't go silent, you won't get bored, and there we go, there's the one fail that I kept in the video. And you might be wondering, what's my feeling on this game in first person? Because I think I did mention briefly earlier on in the Let's Play that I do much prefer the third person mode after trying out the first person post Let's Play. Well, I do. But the first person mode's pretty nice too. I'm not gonna lie about that. My second run of this game, which is a run that's still in progress, I'm doing like a 100% run where I go after everything on the map, like all the treasures, all the weapons, everything. I try to get everything on the map I can. I'm not gonna try to buy the Duke out because you need way too much money for that to get everything the Duke can offer. And I feel like I'm gonna have to replay the game like 17 times. Okay, I guess I kept in two fails. I feel like we're gonna have to replay the game like 17 times to get everything the Duke has to offer. But in the second run, I'm playing it in first person. And I guess I should have did my second run for the Let's Play now that I think about it, but I didn't even know I was going to do a second run. Because at first I didn't plan to. I just kind of started a second run because I missed playing this game. And I just gave myself like a new goal for the second run. Like I always have to have a goal for when I replay a game. Like something I gotta accomplish, whether it be achievement hunting or trophy hunting, whichever one you want to call it. It being a speed run, or it being in the case of what I mentioned with my second run of this, a 100% run. 100% map run, I should say, not 100% game, because I am missing some stuff from the Duke. I'm going to be missing some stuff from the Duke at the end of that run. I'm going to say that now. Yeah. Like, I did a second run of Sonic Frontiers, actually. Or I'm doing a second run of Sonic Frontiers because I want to see how fast I can get through the game. It's not really a speed run per se because I'm not using speed run tactics, but I want to see how fast I can get through the game. I already did my first run. I actually got all the trophies in my first run saved by going back and doing stuff. And yeah, my second run of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was a trophy hunting run. It was challenge mode. But it was a trophy hunting run as well. My second run of Resident Evil 3 Remake, back when I did that Let's Play on my old channel, it no longer exists, was a speed run. If you don't know, like for people who didn't watch that Let's Play, my first run was on standard mode, which most of my Resident Evil Let's Plays will be on the normal difficulty. I don't remember if I did RE2 on assisted or standard. I've beaten RE2 Remake on hard mode before, but I don't remember if I did it on assisted or standard for the Let's Play. I really don't. But I did this game on standard. And back on my old channel, I did most RE games on standard, except for RE7 and RE Rev 2, which I did on casual for both of those.
Caught myself a big one.
Or assisted in the case of RE7. I don't know, they have different... The series has different names for their modes, depending on which era it's from. Like, the remakes, along with RE7 and RE8, call them assisted and standard. But then, like, the Rev games call them casual and, I think, normal. I don't remember. I don't remember what the normal difficulty is called. And then, I forgot what RE5 and 6 called. RE6 is the only RE game that I can tell you... Well, no. RE6 and RE Code Veronica are the only RE games that I can 100% confirm you're never getting a Let's Play of on my channel. So if you want to see a Let's Play for either of those, too bad. I actually really hope they don't keep going. Here's what I think they should do with their like remake things. I don't think they should remake RE6. If they wanted to remake RE5 and make it closer to what RE4 and RE Village is, I'd be chill with that. Because honestly, I do think RE5 could have been handled better. And I think the idea of RE5 is really good, it just wasn't good in execution. So like if they wanted to do RE5 remake and make it closer to what the other remakes are and less action oriented, I'd be totally fine with that. But here's what I personally think they should do. I think they should do a Code Veronica remake after the RE4 remake. Hear me out. Then after that, they should stop with the remakes. I think Code Veronica would be the perfect final remake. Unless they wanted to do an RE0 remake for some reason, but I don't think too many people care about that game. So. I personally really want a Code Veronica remake because I really want to play Code Veronica, but I can't work with the tank controls that the port still has for some reason. You don't know. RE Code Veronica is the only RE game that still uses tank controls on current consoles. Oh wait, no, I think RE4 and RE Revelations, I think both of those use tape controls, but they're over the shoulder, so they kind of make up for that. See, here's the thing, I can handle fixed camera angles. I actually really love RE1 Remake, and I like RE0 a little bit. And they both use fixed camera angles with analog controls. I also really love RE Revelations, which uses tape controls with over-the-shoulder camera. So you got to keep in mind, I don't hate those features separated. I hate them together. I really do hate them when they're used together.
Okay.
Because that's when they really start to be annoying. And that's why I just was like, Code Veronica ain't it. I think I'm going to give Code Veronica another chance one day, but it won't be a let's play. It'll literally just be me playing it in my own time, you know? If I end up beating the game somehow, then, you know, I beat the game. I do think Code Veronica deserves a remake. And I think it'd be the perfect final remake for the series. I don't think 6 deserves a remake. And I think it'd be really... I think they'd be going overboard if they went all the way to 7 and 8 and remade those. I think that'd be completely overboard. I think the only mainline games after 4 that I'd be fine with getting a remake are Code Veronica and RE5. That may just be me. But I also want them to bring... The other reason I think they should stop the remake games is because I want them to make more games like the Revelations games, where they're like side stories taking place between the mainline games. I'd like to see a Revelations 3 that takes place between RE7 and RE8, you know? I know it'd be technically skipping a Rev game, because we would technically need one that takes place between, we would technically need one that takes place between RE6 and RE7, but there's not really much to connect there. I think if they did a Rev 3, it should take place between RE7 and RE8. And it should put you in the shoes of someone who's not Ethan. Hear me out here. I think it would have been a really great idea to have an RE game, like the RE Rev 3, that takes place between RE8 and RE7, where you play as Zoe Baker. Hear me out. I think that'd be a really good idea. And I think, especially because there's a file in this game that confirms that Zoe piled together like a report covering the Baker incident. I feel like if we got a game that took place between 7 and 8, that also took place after Zoe wrote that report and had her investigate some stuff, I feel like that would be a really cool idea for a Resident Evil title. Personally speaking. That's honestly what I want in an RE game right now, is that to come next, you know? Not for a mainline game, because I do think the mainline story isn't really heading in that direction. But it'd be nice for a side game, like a Rev 3, or maybe like some other side game. I miss when series did more side games, because I get that Resident Evil does remakes. And I know Sonic has a side game here and there, like T-Sonic Racing and the Sonic Boom games. And Crash Bandicoot had the CTR Nitro Fueled. But I'm talking about back when series would have like side games almost every other game. Like, I remember a time when that happened. Like with Resident Evil, you had the Revelations games, and you had like you had some Wii specific games. I never played them, but I seen Let's Plays of them, and they look kind of interesting. idea-wise. I don't think I would have enjoyed playing them because they're on-rail shooters, but they would have been interesting to play at the very least. And then with Sonic, you had the Sonic Riders series, the Sonic Rush series, you had the Sonic Advance trilogy. You had so many side spin-off series for Sonic going on the side that were really good. Like, I'm gonna tell you now, I really love the Rush games, the first two Riders games. I hate that Free Riders killed the Riders games, because I do think the Riders side games deserved better than Free Riders. And I personally believe if they would have did like a different idea than what they did with Free Riders, you know, not using the Xbox Connect for their game, the Riders games could have probably continued. That's what I think I missed the most, is the Riders games and the Rush games. That's the kind of games I want ported to current consoles. I don't know if they're going to get ported to current consoles, because these days not too many people talk about them. But those are the games in the Sonic series that I personally would love to see ported to current consoles. And I don't think it'd be that hard. I really don't. Here's the thing. They ported Sonic Colors, a Wii game. And I'm gonna get to why I think that's harder than porting the Riders games and the Rush games. Because Sonic Colors used motion controls. It did. It used motion controls because it was a Wii game. I played the original. It used motion controls. The closest weird control state that the Rush games have to that is the touchscreen, which they could always switch out with a button, which I feel like would be much easier than trying to accommodate for motion controls. Unless motion controls are more simple than I think they are, but I'm not so sure about that. I also think the Riders games would be really easy to port if you went after the Xbox or PS2 versions of them. And I feel like it wouldn't cost that much either. Don't even like try to like remaster or anything. Literally just port it. You don't have to up-res the graphics or anything. Just port it, change the controls. That's all you gotta do. Of course, you'd probably have to accommodate for like any bugs that come from porting it. But like, and I know what I'm saying might make it sound like I think that's easier than it is. I don't. I know it would take a good bit of work. But I'm saying I don't think it would cost them too much money to port those 4 games to current consoles. And I don't think they'd have to charge that much for them. Which is why I think it'd be a good idea, personally speaking.
It's not breaking.
And that might just be me. With Crash Bandicoot, I'm actually happy with what games we have on current consoles with that. Most of them are remakes. You know, the Insane Trilogy and CTR Night Duel, but I'm happy with what we got. Because technically we have the Naughty Dog games, and we have Crash 4. The only Crash game I missed was Crash Twinsanity. And unlike the Riders and Rush games, where like, the only reason I could see for them not porting them is that they're not talked about much, I get why it would be a mess to port Twinsanity. Because that game had like a lot of bugs and glitches and issues going on with it. They'd have to like, not only would they have to port it, but they'd have to like fix all the bugs and stuff. They probably would be expected to add the cut content to the game, which would take a lot of extra work, a lot of extra money, a lot of extra resources, because I feel like if they were going to remake Twinsanity, I feel like that's what they would try to do, is bring in the cut content, fix the bugs and all that. And that's a lot more complicated than just porting games, you know, because you got to do a lot more for it. With the Rush games and the Riders games, there's not really much they'd have to do to, like, smooth them out. There's really not. Those games were already really good as they were, you know, like, there's not many bugs and glitches with them. There's not, like, there's not too many, like, there's not too much cut content in them. It's like, there's not much. Plus, I don't think Sega would care enough about cut content to make whoever's remaking those games or porting those games put in the cut content. But I think if, like, Toys for Bob or Vicarious Visions were asked to remake Twinsanity, they would choose to add in the cut content. That's the way I feel like it is. And I know I'm directly blaming Sega, not Sonic Team. That is because I feel like if it was up to Sonic Team... Well, first of all, I know if Sega ported Riders and the Riders games and the Rush games, they'd outsource it. It wouldn't be Sonic Team doing it. They'd outsource it to a different company, like they did for Colors Ultimate. That's why I'm not blaming Sonic Team. But the other thing is, I feel like if they put Sonic Team behind it, they'd want to add more to it. They'd want to add stuff to it. That's what I feel like. Like, they would want to put all the care and attention to it. That's why I think, as greedy and sus as Activision can be, I think Crash Bandicoot is in better hands under Activision than Sonic is under Sega. I actually really wish that a publisher better than Sega would buy Sonic Team and the Sonic property from Sega, but I know Sega would never let that happen. I really wish they would, though, because I feel like if a better company owned Sonic Team and Sonic...
Who's that?
Sonic Team would get more respect, the games would come out better. That's just what I think. But I'm gonna shut up now and let Heisenberg talk.
You've got fight. I'll give you that, Ethan. But what's the plan when you have all 4 flasks?
What are you trying to get at?
I could lend you a hand.
Trying to get on my good side?
Oh, don't get cocky. I'd kill you if you weren't worth the trouble. There's a stronghold not too far outside the village. Go there and get my flask. Do that, and you pass. First, head back to the graveyard.
Self-centered prick.
Okay. So now we got a thing to read here. Let's read it. I'm not going to read it out loud because, like I've said before, it's something I got to zoom in on because of the video being zoomed out when you add Trek 2 on the Share Factory. But like I was saying, I also think the remake / porting / remasters, I think all that is, I think it's happening too much now anyway. I personally think, the way Activision, Toys for Bob, Vicarious Visions, all that did for Crash Bandicoot, I think that's the right way to do it. Remaster, remake, whatever, the games that matter, and then focus on making new games. Granted, we have not seen a new game since Crash 4, but it's only been 2 years, and most games take a minimum of 3 years to develop these days. So I'm personally not expecting to hear any news on Crash or Spyro for at least another year. Personally speaking. I'm not expecting to hear news on either one for at least another year. Not exactly a year, but I don't expect to hear news about either series until at least halfway through next year, the summer of next year. So in 6 or 7 months at the earliest is when I think we'll get news on Crash or Spyro. Because honestly speaking, I think that's the only way it's gonna really work. Because you gotta keep in mind, Toys for Bob worked on Crash 4 and Spyro. I'm actually not even sure how they got those released Actually, no, they might have got those released 2 years apart because Spyro reignited was a remake. They didn't have to, like, come up with all the ideas and stuff from scratch like they probably did with Crash 4. But, you know what I mean, like, they still had to make the models and everything, so... I'm gonna be completely honest here. At first I really hated the Crash 4 take on the Crash models. Then I realized they're much more fitting for the series than the Insane Trilogy models. Now, don't get me wrong. The Insane Trilogy models are fine. But they don't emote as much. You know, and I feel like Crash is a character that needs to emote a lot. Same with Cortex, Embryo. A lot of Crash characters need to emote a lot. Especially the three I just named. The three I just named, along with Engine and Ripperoo, are the most expressive characters in the series. And they all need to, like, emote really well. I also think the way that Cortex emotes in Crash 4 is the most that animation in the games has ever complimented Lex Lang's voice acting. Because Lex Lang's always been a phenomenal voice actor as Cortex. But, like, I won't lie to you, I think the Insane Trilogy models weren't good enough to really get across the expressions of Lex Lang's voice. You know what I mean? Plus, in the Insane Trilogy, he sounded like he was trying to, like, mimic Clancy Brown, which they probably directed him to do. I don't blame him. You know, normally Lex Lang is like, Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past, but all that did was give me time to plan your doom. And then in the Insane Trilogy, he was like, Crash, 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 why must you always mock in my mud? Oh look, I have a mask helping me too. We shall see who's more powerful soon enough. Like, sorry for coughing. That sounds a bit itchy right now. Like, Lex Lang literally sounded like he was doing a Clancy Brown impression. To give credit where credit's due, I think he did a pretty good Clancy Brown impression. Not an overall Clancy Brown impression, but an impression of the voice Clancy Brown did specifically for Cortex. I personally don't think Lex Lang could have pulled off, like, a Lex Luthor or, what's another character? A Chris Bradford. I don't think he could have pulled off, like, those kinds of Clancy Brown voices, but I think he pulls off, like, the Clancy Brown Cortex pretty good. But I think he's better when he does his own take on Cortex. And honestly, I want to give credit where credit's due to Roger, because I've known Roger is a good voice actor for years, before he even started voicing Sonic. Granted, I was a kid when he started voicing Sonic. I was like 10 or 11. But I knew he wasn't a bad voice actor when he came in to voice Sonic, because I heard him as other characters before. And the Boom cartoon series, along with the Colors Ultimate animations, like the 2D animation they did for Colors Ultimate that they uploaded on the internet, and Sonic Frontiers all prove that. But I'm not here to brag about when he can be a good Sonic. I'm here to brag about his embryo. Because Guy does a dead-on impression of Maurice LaMarche. Not exactly the way Maurice LaMarche speaks, but he gets the voice and the energy right to Maurice's take on Embryo. More specifically, I feel like his take on Embryo is really inspired, or at least it feels really inspired by the Mind Over Mutant Embryo, but with the stuttering that the classic Embryo does. You know, he's like, it kind of sounds like this. You know, this is what... Hold on, I'm trying to do it better. I can do a good Maurice LaMarche impression. Give me a second. Greetings, little peons, which I invented. You see before you was a series of evil devices that me, invented. You see, I feel like Roger takes that and he's like, Greetings, little peons, which I invented. You see before you was a series of evil devices that me, invented. Like, you know, he adds like an extra energy to it. like the stuttering and stuff. Like, I feel like Roger is the perfect voice actor for Embryo, and that's crazy. But I am gonna end off the video here, so bye.
Over.